The draft. We haven't had a draft since the days of Vietnam. That was a long time ago. That was better than 50 years ago. So here we are in mid-March of 2022, and we have this mess with Russia and Ukraine and China looking at Taiwan and North Korea and Iran. Yeah, if you've been paying any attention at all, I don't have to sit here and tell you what's going on. There's no secrets. It's in the news. You just need to pay attention. Um, so, should things blow up and actually become a World War III, there is no way the U.S. has enough boots to deal with this. So, what's it going to mean? You need people. If you get multiple countries into a world war, you're going to need more than 30, 40, 50,000 people, more than 60, 70,000 people on all these fronts dealing with that. You're still going to keep people here too, right? You need to have replacements. Because if this goes on for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, and you've put 60,000 boots on the ground on the other side of the globe, you can't have them over there 24/7, 365 for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years. No. You send them over for a tour, you got to get them out, you got to be cycling new people in, run them a tour, keep rotating people around. It's going to take people. So up comes the draft, right? So anybody who's eligible within that age to be drafted could be drafted. You're going to boot camp. You're going into the military. Whatever branch, who knows? Where you're going, what are you doing, who knows? Can't help but wonder, how's that going to turn out? Sure, you're going to get some draftees who can toe the line, who can do the job and will do the job. You're going to get some probably won't even make it through the first second day of basic. This isn't 1965 anymore. The whole demeanor of people, society, how people are these days, nothing like they were 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 80 years ago. Yeah, sure, some people still have that mentality. But you didn't have safe spaces in schools. You weren't taught that when you had problems or you came under a threat that you go cower in a corner and expect somebody to come fix your problem for you. Well, that's the way it is now. You know, even where I live, I am in a very, very rural area. When I went to school here in the 80s, it was commonplace for our classroom windows to be wide open, the doors in the building to be wide open, especially on hot days. Let the air suck through that place. Um, in the 90s, when I was in high school, same thing. That building was always wide open. Never had any issues. But then all of a sudden, we got the cool thing of active shooters. No, we need to go shoot up schools because, you know, they're gun-free zones and nobody's going to shoot back, right? Nobody's going to fight back because you're not supposed to do that. The person with a gun is in charge. So one person with a gun cannot be overpowered by 20 people. You can't do that. No, you go run and hide and cower and wait to be shot and killed and hope somebody saves your ass. That's what you're supposed to do. So, how long have we been dealing with that now? Last 15 plus years? Now the schools are all locked up. Windows are closed. The one right in my hometown, yeah, that building's locked up. Windows are closed. They need to come up with over $1 million to replace the air handling unit in that building because, they can't open the windows in case there's an active shooter. Well, it ain't ballistic glass. Active shooter's just going to blow the damn glass out and kill kids through the window. So what good's that do you? But it makes people feel good. So this is the conditioning that kids have had over the last 15 to 20 years ish, give or take. Something bad happens, run and hide, cower, be scared. Somebody else is going to come save you. So that's your young generation of draftees that we've got right now and coming up. Well, I hate to break it to you, but when the shit hits the fan and you're in the fight of your life, if you even get through basic to get to the fight of your life, you ain't got no safe space, timeout cards. It's do or die. It's you or them. Shy having air support. You're not hiding in the corner, hunkering down, scared. I mean, if you get driven down into a friggin' hole, you get driven into a building, you better hope you get some air support. You better hope you got some buddies coming to get you in your team, platoon, whatever. Or you're fighting your way out, or you're going to die trying to do so. That's the way it goes. Same thing in the civilian side of the world. Law enforcement and crap. One cop could be outnumbered 2 to 3 people with hostile intentions. That cop can't go hide in the cruiser. This is my safe place. You can't touch me. Time out. Nope. You might have to fight to the death, try and save your life. Maybe they'll get you, maybe they won't. Maybe you can take out 2 or 3 threats. Maybe you can't. But with the conditioning slash indoctrination that children get in the schooling system over the last decade and a half to 2 decades, what are we seeing in the world, these days? That everybody has to fix my problems for me. What's the other thing? Another thing we're seeing. Most every kid, young adults now, they can't even function without that. You see them walk around the stores, you see them walk around on the roads and the streets, and it's buried in the screen. They don't even have a clue about anything outside of that screen. No peripheral vision, no nothing. Because whatever's in that phone is the most important thing in the world. Not a clue about the surroundings. I can't tell you how many people I've passed over the years walking down the road, walking by in stores especially. Walked right by them. They didn't even see me. I literally could have walked right by them and just friggin' drove them right in the face with my palm or with my fist. And they wouldn't have even seen it coming because they didn't even know I was in front of them. That's where our eyes are, right in the front. You should have seen me coming a long ways off. Not a clue. There's your generation of draftees. Kids these days, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, that is their life, living in the phone. So when they go to basic, they need to be broke out of that. It ought to be interesting. See how a draft would go. Out of 100,000 people might get drafted. Let's see how many actually make it through basic. Definitely different times than the mid 60s. So hopefully, this mess going on over there can get squelched and resolved sooner than later, and it doesn't blow up into anything bigger than what it already is. But it is not looking good. Hopefully, there does not have to be a draft in this country. Anybody who's been drafted can tell you how bad that sucks. People who willingly enlisted or went to organized chicken shit school, officer candidate school. When you voluntarily do it, that's one thing. But when you're drafted, it's a forced. You don't have a choice. You have to go do it. You have to go do whatever they tell you to do. Maybe you're going to get killed. Maybe you'll survive. Maybe you're going to get screwed up. You can come home screwed up. Either way, you survived. You get back home. Guys that came home from Vietnam being called baby killers because they were forced to go over there and do crap that they never signed up to have to do. They didn't want to go over there, but they were forced to do it. So if this draft comes around again to go deal with Russia and whatever else transpires here, what's going to happen to those draftees who actually do make it through basic, do go over, do the job, survive, come back home. Then they have to live their lives after. Then you have injuries, whatever, and you got to deal with the VA screwing with you, lowballing you. You got PTSD, you've got back injuries, whatever, and they do everything they can do to downplay it. That's what the VA does. 100%. Oh, well, that's worth 30%. Oh, well, you got so much crap wrong. That's 200%. Oh, well, maybe that's worth 50%. So, I just hope it doesn't transpire. But it just does not look good right now.